In 2008, philosopher and Yale professor Tamar Gendler published a paper in the Journal of Philosophy showing why it's rational to eat food that looks like poop. Now, before you think I've gone off the deep end just to get clicks and views on YouTube, know that we're going to look at three things today. First, Miss Gendler's argument around disgusting shaped food and why that's so interesting. Second, why you sometimes make bad decisions even when you know better. And third, I'm going to give you a book recommendation today that will help you avoid those stupid split-second decisions using the image of a tyrannical animal and an innocent bystander. All right, let's get philosophical. Now, to understand our first concept, why it's rational to eat food that looks like poop, you need to learn a new term. Now, the word is Alief, A-L-I-E-F, which is essentially when your reaction or behavior doesn't really respond with what you know to be true. And in that moment, you're experiencing an Alief. Okay, so if I present you with a piece of chocolate cake, the kind that makes your mouth water just by looking at it, you're going to want to eat it. And you'll believe that it tastes good, so you're going to rush to get a fork and a plate. This means that your behavior aligns with your beliefs. So far, so good. Now, here's the fun part. Let's take those exact same ingredients. It's important that they are exact, and we're going to mash them up into the shape of human poop. Now, the chocolate goes a long way in adding to the illusion here. Despite your belief that it's still the same ingredients, your behavior is going to be different. So instead of running for a fork, you're going to run for the door. You've just experienced an Alief. This is when your behaviors do not align with your beliefs. So you should realize that the shape of the food doesn't matter. It's going to taste like cake, but you can't get away from that feeling of revulsion. There's some sort of internal wiring happening that makes you respond before you can be logical. This is just a framing construct. Now, depending on how you look at a problem or a person or a situation, that affects how you think and feel. So if you can look at things in a different way, you can increase either your attraction or your disgust for it. It's pretty interesting. Okay, what does all of this have to do with you? Well, sometimes you make bad decisions. Why? Why do you do that? I mean, think about it. How often do you do what's most rational and optimal for your future? My first job was working at a home builder. I was about 22 years old when I started, and I remember the day when my boss walked in and he said that we were launching some sort of retirement program for all of the employees and that I could meet with the financial advisor if I wanted to. So I walked into this room. I was really excited to become financially responsible at such a young age, but the professional laid out all of the different investment strategies. He had all of these brochures and different things that I could look at. And then he asked me which one I'd like to contribute to. And I just settled for one that looked good. Honestly, I had no idea. I was so overwhelmed in that meeting. I didn't want to look foolish, and I was also aware that there was like a line of employees behind me waiting to make their selections. So instead of reaching or researching for the best plan, I just went with good enough. This is a fascinating psychological problem called bounded rationality, and you can learn more about that topic by watching Daniel Kahneman's Nobel Prize acceptance speech, which took place in 2002, and I'll post that in the notes down below. So the quick explanation here is that your rationality as a human is sort of bounded or limited by several factors, including brain fog and your biases that you've built up over the years and your ego. All of these things make it so that you don't always make the best decision. These decisions are a problem. They determine how much money you make, who you marry, and why, what you're going to do for a career, and what you're going to eat for dinner tonight, whether it's a healthy salad or a nasty, greasy hamburger. Now, I also promised to make a book recommendation, and if you've gotten this far in the video, it's probably safe to assume you're interested in the decision-making process. In other words, how to make better decisions for yourself. So to help with this is the book. It's George Orwell's A Collection of Essays, which is an interesting choice for the topic today, but there's a specific essay in here I think is really applicable. It's called Shooting an Elephant, and you can actually go to Google and search George Orwell Shooting an Elephant, and you can read it there for free. You don't have to buy this whole book. And in this essay, you'll see a story of a village being ransacked by an elephant. The protagonist makes a split decision that puts him into a really uncomfortable situation. And the lesson here is that next time you're about to make a bad decision, just hit pause and think of the man shooting the elephant. I think that sort of visual story, if you can capture that in your head, will help you just slow down and weigh the options before you quickly do something. It's those extra few seconds of deliberation that might just save you from doing something embarrassing or stupid down the road. Hey, did you know I have a newsletter? Every week I share a book with a philosophical or a psychological focus, as well as the very best idea I've come across in my own reading that week. So when you subscribe, I'll send you a list of 20 of my favorite books to get started. Plus, I'll send you an invite to my private reading community where I host live book clubs, have reading challenges, and more. All you need to do is go to thereadwellpodcast.com and click the subscribe button. So until next week, thanks for watching, and remember to read slowly, take notes, and apply the ideas. See you next week.